Kenyans heartless?
Yeah. First, I take a totally different view on that matter. We first continue to condole with the family of the late Honorable Mondo Were. Yesterday, his son Boyd spoke very well at the memorial. As attention shifts to his interment tomorrow, we want to continue to call on the authorities to make sure that they leave no stone unturned in these investigations. The things that make us worry is a perception of some sloppiness in the investigation. For instance, it was only yesterday that the Speaker was confirming that he had now directed the authorities at Parliament to give access to the DCI to the CCTV footage at Parliament buildings, which is quite surprising because many of us expected that because it was known that the final moments of Were began at Parliament, our expectation would have been that the police would have already contacted Parliament to be able to obtain that footage because it is quite critical in terms of investigations. And I suspect that had they done that earlier, in fact, they would have arrested that driver and the guard way before. And there is no knowing what those two individuals have done in terms of interference with evidence in the period between when they were released. I saw them, we all saw them at the hospital with those dramatic reenactments of events at City Mortuary roundabout. So there is no knowing what they have done subsequently to any evidence that might have been critical in the intervening period. That is why many of us worry that there might be lapses and there might be things that are being done that might actually allow the true killers or the people who actually gave the order, what Boyd called the people calling the shots, to get away with this. Trevor, I said yesterday in church that as a leadership of Nairobi as well, we have an explanation to give. Because this is the capital city of the country. We're expected to have the best infrastructure in terms of lighting, CCTV. We have speed cameras these days on the Southern Bypass and on Thika Road, that immediately your vehicle overspeeds, a message comes to your phone immediately. And they tell you this is your first warning or you have been fined a certain amount of money. How is it not possible for us to have similar technology when crime happens? And the area where the actual incident took place, Ngong Road roundabout is a place that usually is manned by traffic police and other police officers. It is very well lit. We expect that there are cameras there, at least traffic cameras, that should be able to provide proper evidence for us to be able to nab these people. It should worry you that people are confident enough to say we can shoot someone on Ngong Road, and it speaks to this attitude on something they know, that it is possible for you to get away with it, and that is something that is worrying. The speaker told us that kikulacho kinguo ni mwako, alluding to the fact that it is possible that, and of course we have seen the reports now, that the people that hang out with us as leaders, the security, the drivers, are potential weak links in our own security, and he has invited all members of Parliament to be able to resubmit their security detail for vetting. Now, on the question of whether leaders are hated or not, I think we have largely brought it upon ourselves. You see, the Constitution expects that we will conduct ourselves in a manner that demonstrates respect for the people. And it is not every member of Parliament. By the way, a majority of the members of Parliament, at least for members of the Senate, they are very respectful when they are addressing matters of the public. This thing has happened cumulatively, Trevor. There is a feeling amongst the public that we do not listen to them. You will remember some of the pronouncements by some members of Parliament during debates on critical bills, including the finance bill, saying, oh, wapende wasipende, we will not change a comma. You are clear that the people do not want you to do something, but you force it down their throat because you think you are their boss as opposed to their servant. There are pronouncements that were made during the discussion about that BBC documentary that happened on the floor of the National Assembly. There is a member of Parliament whose words are being thrown back at us. who said that people die all the time, we just sympathize and move on, that there is no point of us reliving this history of the protest in July or June of 2024. Now, that is just one member of parliament. It is not a representative, but they say, you know, one bad apple is enough to upset the entire cart. And my brother Hilary Sigei here is a member of the Speaker's panel. And because he's a good man, I am sure if a senator were to say something like that, he would not let him get away with it. The reason why we fault the leadership of the National Assembly is that Speaker Wetangula was on the seat that day when that MP for Mandera North made those very unfortunate comments that appeared to, you know, show us as leaders, as people lacking empathy, and that we only care about our affairs and we don't care about what happens to other people. Questions have been asked whether we demonstrate similar outpouring of empathy and sympathy when things happen to the common mwananchi. So all of these things cumulatively, and in fact the fact that the person on the seat that day, Honorable Wetangula, did not call out this member of parliament, so it appears like it is a representative of the general view of the National Assembly and by extension the entire parliament. So when his words are thrown back at us, we really cannot also start crying and saying, oh, you guys are being unfair and so on and so forth. But the only criticism I have is that, you know, traditionally, when somebody dies, we tend to, you know, just speak about the things that he did that were good in our view. Because I feel that it is unfair, Trevor. If you have beef with Sifuna, if there is anything I've done in this city, if I've beaten anyone, stolen anything, can you make those accusations when I still have the ability to defend myself? Because when I'm lying there in a casket, honestly, it is a bit unfair because, you know, I cannot defend myself. If there are things that Sir Charles Ongondo Were is accused of, and by the way, on both sides, we hear that reports were made, accusations of violence, including from Charles Ongondo Were himself. He has said many times that he felt like his life was in danger. There are people who have accused him of things that amount to criminal conduct. I mean, what has the police done in terms of investigating any of these things? But it is a bit unfair to make accusations on a dead man. You know he can't defend himself. I wish these accusations were given the sort of prominence that everybody is giving them, including you in the media. I found it strange that suddenly you have the time and the effort to go and look for those families of the person who's disappeared. I wish those things were done, Trevor, when this gentleman was here, so that even we who are his friends and colleagues can put those questions to him and tell him, Bona Boss, can you explain these things?
Do Kenyans deserve an apology? Because yesterday you seemed to be apologizing.
Absolutely. You see, for me, as I have described, as I've explained, I believe that there are things that we as leaders have said and done in the past, on the floor of the House, in our conduct in public and in private, that has led us to this point where Kenyans don't feel that we are part of them, that we are this elite group who doesn't care about what happens to the ordinary folk. So I feel that this is personal. As Sifuna, many people might see it differently. But I feel like as a leadership, we have fallen short. And we owe an apology to the public that there are things that we have said and done that cast us in very bad light, that did not meet the threshold in Chapter 6, where we did not demonstrate the respect expected for the people who elected us. That is why I offered an apology. And it was a sincere apology on behalf of the entire political class, at least those who subscribe to my point of view and my way of thinking, because at the end of the day, we need to repair this society. This society is in a terrible place. The anger that we see and we feel out there is not healthy, by the way. It is not healthy that we can stay in a state of anger for all that time. So we need to start speaking and listening to each other to try and repair the relationship between the leadership and the public.